The process of screening of Ukrainian legislation for compliance with European law has officially begun in Brussels. Good afternoon, this is Henry Keane on UATV English with more hard truth in easy terms for the whole free world directly from Ukraine. The process of screening lays the foundation for the negotiations on the country's accession to the EU.
This is the outcome of our agreement reached with President Ursula von der Leyen in Davos. Thank you, Ursula. The thorough work of accession, the conformity of Ukrainian legislation with EU norms, the formation of Ukraine's delegation and our negotiation position are all ahead of us. I expect full engagement of Ukrainian government team and the first intergovernmental conference to be held already this spring. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, on social network X, formerly Twitter.
So what now? What now? We expect the European Commission to conduct and finish the formal screening process, to explain the results to Ukrainian authorities in particular and to assess the state of preparation for the opening of actual negotiations in specific areas in general. We also expect Brussels to provide preliminary guidance on the issues that are most likely to arise during the negotiations. The screening process will be carried out in parts and will result in proposed initial guidelines defining key reforms. The screening process will also identify proposed areas for accelerated integration, as well as conditions that Ukraine must meet to ensure the highest level of compliance in the relevant areas. So in easy terms, the Council of Europe, acting anonymously on a proposal from the Commission, will establish and assess initial benchmarks and agree on areas for accelerated integration of Ukraine into the multifaceted legal body of EU in accordance with applicable rules and procedures. Easy to say? Not that easy to perform. This stage will require extremely complex efforts to coordinate all bodies, to prepare materials and directly hold bilateral meetings with presentations and assessments of our current compliance with EU legal and institutional requirements. Well, our knowledge, expertise and experience will be tested and will be key factors in the success of the task. Based on the results of the main screening, the European Commission will draw up a general report which will become the basis for both further reforms and the start of the actual negotiations. Well managed. After all, we're Ukrainians, right? PASE adopted a resolution on Russian genocide against children in Ukraine. Authorities collected data on more than 19,000 children who were deported or forcibly moved from different places. Only 388 of them returned home by now. Well, this is just unofficial information. Can you please imagine the real number? The deportation and forced transfer of Ukrainian children to territory of Russia and Belarus is a war crime. No, wrong. Not only a war crime. It is an outrageous crime against humanity and any of its laws. The Assembly calls on the Russian Federation to stop deportations, detentions and forced transfers of children. PASE also calls for assistance in the matter of their return home.
You may know that in April 2023, the Parliamentary Assembly held an urgent debate on the situation of Ukrainian civilians, including children, forcibly displaced or transferred to the Russian Federation or Ukrainian territories under the de facto control of the Russian Federation. We demanded the safe return of Ukrainian children, as well as the punishment of the perpetrators at all levels, highlighting the fact that the documented evidence of this practice corresponds to the international definition of genocide. I promise that we, at the Parliamentary Assembly, will do our utmost to continue our commitment to bring justice and lasting peace in Ukraine.
Well, PASE does what it does best, calls on all Assembly member states to adopt a resolution at the level of national parliaments and assist in the issue of the return of children back home to Ukraine. It is good to see the Assembly is ready to act as a third party in the search and return of children. What PASE recommends is creating a register of those involved in the deportation of Ukrainian children in order to include these data into anti-Russian sanctions list. It was decided to establish the position of a special commissioner on the situation with the hope that it will help to return our children home. We do not want to forget, dear world, it was exactly the deportation of children that became the official charge against Putin in the International Criminal Court. Russian Tsar is officially indicted. He committed many crimes, but the extent to which the deportation takes place openly shocks the whole world. And don't think that Putin is doing this because he just wants children for Russia, because the demographic situation in Russia is not favorable. Oh no. Criminal Russian Tsar wants nothing but the destruction of Ukraine and our future. And this looks like the easiest way to do it. Will you let him succeed, dear world? Russia faces numerous challenges as its war in Ukraine approaches the 2-year mark. Pentagon spokesman Major General Pete Ryder told Voice of America. According to him, Russia is experiencing shortages of ammunition and military equipment, significant problems with the supply chain, significant problems with personnel.
We see Russia turning to countries like North Korea and Iran to get military capabilities and ammunition. And again, this just demonstrates the problem that they have in terms of replenishing their own weapons stockpile. Patrick Ryder, U.S. Department of Defense Press Secretary, in an interview with Voice of America.
Spokesperson Ryder also emphasized that from the point of view of the United States and the international community, a significant advantage of Ukraine is the support from more than 50 countries around the world that are working together to assist the country. This is an international effort, and many countries, including NATO members, are committed to providing Ukraine with the security assistance it needs. Well, I agree to that, but if only that help would more become timely, I would say, right? The Pentagon spokesperson praised the cooperation of all allies who are working together to understand how they can combine resources and capabilities so as not to deplete their own weapons stockpiles, but at the same time supporting Ukraine. Well, in easy terms, international terms, one of the important consequences of the Russian invasion of Ukraine was the incentive to further strengthen NATO cohesion and capabilities. As simple as that. According to Ryder, and I can't agree more, now it's probably the strongest since its founding after World War II, and this is another indicator of how NATO allies have come together to actually look at how we can work together in a crisis situation and, most importantly, how we can contain potential conflict. That seems to be it. Thank you for watching, dear world. It was Henry Kidd on UATV studio bringing the hard truth in easy terms for you as usual. I hope you like what we do for you. So if you do, in return, help us like, share, subscribe. Help us to deliver Ukrainian voice worldwide and make it to be heard. And let us know what you think in the comments below. In return, we appreciate that a lot. Stay safe and tune for more. See you in weekly, folks.